Welcome to another episode of We Don't Die, where my goal is to give you evidence that although our bodies will disappear, we survive physical death. When we aren't afraid of death, we are less afraid of life. From these episodes, I aim for all of us to take more risks in life, go after our dreams, have great relationships, and, of course, some fun in the process. I'm your host, Sandra Champlain, author of the international bestseller, We Don't Die, A Skeptic's Discovery of Life After Death. And to our listener today, I just want to thank you for taking the time to be here episode after episode. I know the episodes make a difference for me, and I really hope they do for you too. So I thank you for your loyalty. I thank you for your sharing. The show's been growing just leaps and bounds lately. And I want to thank you for taking the time to listen. And today, a little bit different conversation. We are going to talk about animals in the realm of We Don't Die. And I'm delighted because for the very first time, we have an expert in animals. And so let me tell you about her. Her name is Kathleen Prasad, and she's the founder of Animal Reiki Source and the president of the Shelter Animal Reiki Association. Kathleen has taught Reiki to the staff and volunteers of organizations such as Bright Haven, the CARE Foundation, Best Friends Animal Society, the San Francisco SPCA, and Guide Dogs for the Blind. A global leader in this profession, Kathleen has authored 3 books on Reiki for animals, teaching people how to use Reiki's spiritual energy to help heal their animals. Kathleen's been published in many magazines, including Dog Fancy, Animal Wellness Magazine, and many others, as well as being featured regularly in television and radio shows. Kathleen Prasad offers regular classes at Bright Haven Holistic Animal Retreat in Santa Rosa, California, and also travels extensively to teach. So welcome to We Don't Die Radio, Kathleen Prasad. Hello, Kathleen.
Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for inviting me today.
Oh, I'm thrilled. And for our listener, if you happen to be by your computer, if you go to wedon'tdieradio.com, you can see a picture of Kathleen so you know who it is that you're listening to right now. So Kathleen, first of all, I'm super delighted because it's going to mix up our show a little. Instead of talking about our loved ones that are in human form, that we don't die, we're talking about animals. And so as an animal lover myself, and I've had quite a few in my past, and currently I have a cat named Harry. Thank you for doing what you do and having it be about animals. Maybe you can tell us a little bit just about yourself, where you are, and maybe a little bit how you got involved with animals, and then I'm going to ask you at some point what Reiki is because many actually don't know what it is, and I don't know that much about it. And just if you don't mind taking the microphone right now and telling us about yourself a little.
Sure. Well, I live in Marin County, which is just north of San Francisco, and I am a California girl. I've grown up here my whole life in the Bay Area, and I absolutely adore this part of the world. And I live here with my husband and daughter and my dog. And I have 2 horses who live in Sonoma, I was just visiting them this morning. And I have, over the years, had many, many animals in my life and have found them to be my greatest friends.
Yes.
My most beloved companions in life, and also my most profound spiritual teachers. And that really unexpectedly became my life's calling. I used to be a middle school teacher in San Francisco for many years, and I learned Reiki as a self-healing technique. And then the animals in my life began to come forward and want to connect in that beautiful Reiki energy space, and then everything just kind of took over, and suddenly I became a Reiki person, I guess. Reiki kind of became my life, and the animals were guiding me every single step. And so although it's totally unexpected, I absolutely am so honored and love what I do, which is these days focusing on teaching people how to connect with their animals through Reiki. And Reiki really is about healing and growing in the spirit.
Could you explain a little bit, Kathleen, what Reiki is? The only experience I've had with Reiki is I had gone to a spa. Somebody had given me a full day at the spa, and one of the treatments was Reiki, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what the heck this is. And so my experience was lying on the massage table,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on my back, and I felt like somebody was putting this really hot uh, I don't know if it was some kind of a light or something on my belly, and it was really hot, almost like I too hot. So I opened my eyes just to tell the woman just whatever it is to not do it, and it was her hands that were over my belly. And at that moment, I thought, "What is this?" I mean, it was just impossible to me to think that that kind of heat could come out of a human being. And so, although I didn't understand Reiki, I knew that there was something very profound to it because there's some kind of energy going on here. So if you don't mind just explaining what it is.
Oh, sure. Well, the word Reiki actually comes from two Japanese words, rei and ki. Rei meaning spirit and
Hmm.
ki meaning energy. So in like a general sense, Reiki refers to spiritual energy, which is what we're all made of. What you're made of, what I'm made of, the chair, the table, the moon, the sun, the earth, all of
Yes.
us, we're all spiritual energy. So that's kind of what that word means. But the system of Reiki was actually started in Japan by Miko Usui in the early 1900s. And the system of techniques, specific spiritual techniques, which are designed to help us to uncover our true self or our spiritual energy. So even though we are spiritual energy, we don't usually remember that. we kind of
I know that. Yes.
Yeah, we go through
Yeah.
we go through our life really stuck on the physical, the outer
Right.
shell, the jacket that we wear for this short time that we're on
Hmm.
this planet. And the system of Reiki has many techniques designed to help us to shed all those layers of forgetfulness and remember our inner true self and who we really are, which really is spiritual energy. And so when we remember that we are spiritual energy, we begin to have these profound experiences of connection to others. And in my case, I really train people how to do that with animals, but also compassion, because when you realize we're all one, then you are motivated to act in a very compassionate way. And so for me, it's really about remembering that connection so that we can do our hearts. We can follow our heart's path, which for me is about service on this planet, service to others. And specifically for my students, we do a lot in service for animals. So animals in sanctuaries, animals in shelters, rescued animals, and helping them to heal and to get better. So it is a system for healing. And the treatment that you had was like a typical treatment for a human.
Hmm.
It looks very different when we work with animals. Obviously, we wouldn't put them on a massage table and force them to be still for an hour. Um,
Oh,
but
warm cloth over their eyes, cucumbers. Yes. The music in the background. Well, you might.
but the goal really is to rediscover our true self, our inner spirit, and that when we get in touch with that, then we are in touch with our own infinite healing power, which each of us has. And so that's how the healing sort of comes, very, very deep place with Reiki.
That's really beautiful. Um, yeah, it's so easy. In fact, I think 99% of the time, most of us forget that we're these infinite souls. It's so easy just to be living as a human being. And one of the reasons I created this show is to hear stories and to remind us that we are so much more. Kathleen, do you have any maybe stories of experiences of how Reiki's made a difference with the animals? And then maybe we can get in touch with a little bit of the life after death part, what you believe about that. But are there any stories that come to mind that where Reiki's made a difference with either a human or an animal that you might want to share?
Yeah, I mean, Reiki is it really is so profound for supporting animals to heal themselves. So we can see all kinds of physical, emotional, and spiritual recovery. And I actually, I'll maybe share a little bit about Brighthaven.
Sure.
Brighthaven is it's an animal sanctuary here in Santa Rosa, California, which is about an hour and a half north of San Francisco. So it's fairly close to where I live here. And I teach there once a month. I teach Reiki classes. And Brighthaven has been around for over 25 years, and they are a holistic senior and special needs sanctuary and hospice for animals.
Hmm.
And so their population is primarily, well, there's a lot of cats, older cats and some dogs, and a lot of horses. There's 25 horses there now. They have a goat who thinks she's a horse, and they have several rescued birds like geese and ducks and chickens who've come from a variety of factory farming rescue type situations.
Mhm.
And so all the animals there have come from, in many cases, very horrendous situations, and usually narrowly escaping euthanasia. And then they come to Brighthaven. So normally when they come to Brighthaven, they come with a very short prognosis, where the vet says, well, they'll die any day, but here you can have them.
Mhm.
And what happens is when they get to Brighthaven, that Brighthaven has sort of found the perfect recipe of holistic care, which really means a natural diet and homeopathy, Reiki, and a big dose of love.
Yes.
And when those things come together, these animals get better. So we see animals who may have been very frightened. And so when they get there, like a cat, they'll go under the bed and they will hide.
Mhm.
And with all of these things, including Reiki, they will eventually come out. They'll eventually be a part of the household. And sometimes they even come and sit on students' laps during class, and we'll just have our eyes wide like, oh my gosh, the cat came out and is sitting on your lap. And then there are, other animals who may have emotional or physical issues that get better, like arthritis that gets better, or even animals. I like to talk about spiritual healing in terms of
Mhm.
transitioning and animals who pass. And Brighthaven, they don't do euthanasia at Brighthaven. They do natural dying. And so the animals are allowed to sort of wind down and choose their own path and journey. And
Mhm.
they've assisted over 600 natural deaths at Brighthaven over many years' time. And what Gail and Richard Pope, who are the president and co-founders of Brighthaven, what they've told me is that since they've been implementing Reiki into the transitional journey of the animals, every single transition has been completely peaceful and just filled with gratitude and peace. And because of the variety of situations the animals come from, that had not always been the case before, um, just due to past abuse and things happening with the animals. And so for them to see that total shift into peacefulness with all of the animals, no matter what situation they come from, and for me, that is such a huge gift and blessing that Reiki has brought. And so I just wanted to share that with you. And I've worked also with a lot of other people with their animals, and shelters with animals that are there waiting for a family. And that is the common thing that really Reiki brings, is peace in the midst of a difficult situation. And I mean, I can't think of anything more profound than that, really, when you think about it.
Yes, and I've been with my cat as I put her to sleep, and she was the love of my life, Millie, and she was in a lot of pain and suffering, and it was the what I believed was the right thing to do. I didn't have another option, and I didn't want to see her suffer. And to even consider that there for future would be an option of having peace, because we all know that animals are filled with unconditional love, and I think they're just these little angels put on earth for us to learn love, learn compassion. They never talk back, they could be a little finicky,
Yeah.
but the the stress I experienced with Millie in those final moments was horrible. There was no peace present.
Mm.
It was very, very tough. So you're just opening up something else that may be possible, and then helping Reiki so that animals don't suffer, and even if they're not sick, that they feel like their best selves. So thank you. I mean, this is something I didn't even know was possible. So
Mm.
thanks for that. So as the show is titled, We Don't Die, and from talking about human relationships and our soul going on, do
Mhm.
you believe that our animal friends, that their souls go on?
Oh, absolutely, because, they're no different from us. We're all part of the same thing.
Do
Um,
you go ahead?
I was just going to say, I was thinking, knowing I was going to be on your show, and
Hmm.
I was thinking about some experiences with animals that I would love to share with you and with
Yeah, would love it.
listeners. So, I want to start with Dakota. Dakota was my very first animal Reiki teacher. He was my Australian Shepherd mix that I rescued from Sacramento County Animal Control, but way back in the 90s when I was just in college. And he stayed with me for 16 and a half years until he passed away. And being a shepherd, he was always at my side and part of everything, overseeing everything that I did. So when I learned Reiki, he immediately had to come forward and show me animals like Reiki too. Animals can be a part of this too. And so he was really the first one that put me on that path towards helping animals with this beautiful, peaceful energy. So I really have him to thank for it. So when he got cancer when he was 16, a little over 16, I'm going to cure him because I'm an animal Reiki
Right?
person and this is what I do. I make animals feel better and I make them better.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this. And it was really interesting because he had lost the ability to walk, and so he was kind of laying in his bed, and I would pick him up and take him outside during the day. But when I would sit and do Reiki, as soon as I would try to do Reiki with him, he would try to drag himself away with his front legs. And so I realized he didn't want Reiki, but I knew he needed Reiki, he needed healing in my mind.
Yes.
And so it was very frustrating. And so I'll never forget one day I I when I was so wanting him to get, and I just said, Dakota, why won't you take any Reiki? And I put my hands over my heart just out of
Hmm.
pain and frustration and not knowing what else to do. And he stopped and he looked at me, and he looked so clearly at me, and I just understood what he was saying. And he was saying to me, you know what, Mom, I might be dying of cancer, but actually I'm okay. You're the one who needs healing right now.
Right.
And so I looked down at my hands on my heart and I realized the message. And so what I started to do was give myself Reiki, really going deeper within my own meditation and self to help me deal with his transitional process because I was not dealing with it very well. And so as soon as I turned my focus inward, he relaxed, and then he would sit with me and be a part of the Reiki treatment. So um, it really taught me about how I think so many times when our animals are passing, we put all of our emotional stuff on them, and it actually becomes more of a burden than they already had. So he was really showing me that the best we can do for our animals when they're passing is to be nurturing to ourselves and to be peaceful, to be peaceful for them.
Right.
And so I meditated quite a bit, about 3 times a day with him, and he would sit with me. And as he was approaching his transition, there was a very different energetic space that was created. And I could feel it when I would go into my meditation that he was holding me in this different space. It felt very expansive. It felt sort of far away, like I was in my body, but when I would sit with him, somehow I was kind of outside my body or bigger. It's hard to explain. But I felt he was sharing that transitional space with me, and it was really a gift. And there was a really profound experience one day when I was sitting with him in this space, and I felt this cat named Simon that lived at Brighthaven, that was one of my favorite older kitties that had a lot of health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I suddenly felt him at my left shoulder, right by my ear, like he was right there. And it was this feeling of like gratitude, like he was saying, thank you for everything. I love you and I'm okay. And it was like joy, gratitude, love, all wrapped into one in this beautiful, just like energetic hug. And it was so strong that I jumped and opened my eyes and I looked at my shoulder because it was like he was perched there.
Right.
And then I realized, Simon, what's happening? And so I just finished my meditation, and then I went over to my computer and I emailed Gail at Brighthaven, and I said, I had just had this experience with Simon, is he okay? And she emailed me back like, a couple hours later, and she said he passed away at, 7:15 p.m. And that was exactly in the middle of my meditation when that happened.
Oh, you give me goosebumps. Wow.
And so that was really, um, it was so like I barely have words for it now, but I really I feel that Dakota was holding a space for me to be more open to feel that or receive that blessing really from Simon. And then there was a class that I taught shortly after that, and I made up this new meditation when I would go to Brighthaven called the Healing Bridge, and it's where you open your heart and you imagine your heart is a beautiful light, and then your heart extends out like a bridge, and with all love and peace and joy and balance and healing, all good things, and you offer that to your animal. And your animal then can come forward to connect as much as they want. So I wrote this healing bridge for Dakota because he hated when I would leave and when he was sick, and then I would have to go teach for the weekend and he would
Mm-hmm.
just be miserable. So it was a way that I could really connect with him, and I could feel him so close to me even when I was teaching. And so I went to Brighthaven, and this was maybe about a few weeks before Dakota passed away, and he was very weak. And so I was at Brighthaven offering this meditation, and suddenly I felt this dog named Patty, who was a German Shepherd who had died, maybe a month or so before that. And it was as she was right behind me. So I almost felt like she was putting her paws on my shoulders, and I could feel her right behind me. And I felt again the gratitude, love, and the joy. And it was like she was telling me, it's going to be okay with Dakota. It's going to be okay. I just felt that from her.
Wow.
And I burst into tears. So then, of course, I had to, when we came out of the meditation, I had to explain to my students why their teacher was bawling.
Right.
And I said, Patty, Patty was this dog, and she visited me, and she told me, my dog Dakota is in hospice right now, and she told me it's going to be okay. And I just felt that it was true, like just what she was saying, and she was so clear to me. So I felt again that, I was connecting with Dakota in this space. He was holding a deeper space so that I could be more aware of sort of what was on the other side, so that Patty could come through to me. So I had some experiences like this when Dakota was in hospice. And then the day came when it was time for Dakota to pass. And so it was a very beautiful day. It was sunny. The weather was perfect. It was July 5th.
Hmm.
And it's been 7.5 years now, actually. I can't believe it's been that long.
It goes by fast.
And so we had the vet come and euthanize him because he was suffering quite a bit at the end. And when he was sitting under the tree, and the vet was there, and I was there with my husband, and I told him it was okay to go. And when he left his body, I could actually feel his spirit. When it left his body, it went into my heart, and then it went up. And I could feel it go through me.
Wow.
It was so strong, it almost knocked me over. But the whole feeling of that light or that energy that went through me was joy.
Wow.
So who could think that in the middle of the saddest moment of your life, or you
Exactly.
feels the saddest, that you could feel overwhelming joy in that moment? That just blew me away. I will never ever forget it. And I realized he was telling me, this is not a time to be sad. This is a time to be in full joy because, you know, I'm coming into who I really am. And I think that, really when we're in our bodies, we love this life and we love our physical selves and everything, but there's only so much we can do with our spirit when it's stuck into our body. And
Hmm.
especially if you're an animal, if you're an animal on this life, just because animals aren't, they have a difficult journey because humans on this planet don't really honor them, don't treat them well. A lot of times they end up in cages or, tied
Right.
up or whatever, used as food, or I don't know. I think being an animal is a difficult journey on this planet. So to actually move into spirit is like opening up into their full strength. I mean, I felt almost like Dakota was like this big golden angel with these big wings. And it was like, how did you even fit into that little dog body in the first place? You know, it
Yeah.
was, it was really amazing. So I have one little final part to this
Sure.
story. So about 2 weeks later, after Dakota passed, I was teaching a class at Brighthaven again. And so I went to teach the meditation of the healing bridge like I always did to my class.
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, oh, well, usually I'd always connect with Dakota, but he's gone. So I'll just connect and I'll hold the space for the students. Okay, this is me,
Right. You're right.
I'm teaching all this stuff all the time, but when you're in the middle of it
It's
yourself.
it's a whole different story. Yep.
So so I'm leading the meditation. I'm imagining I'm holding the space for everybody's animals and everyone's connecting with the heart. And all of a sudden, I when my eyes were closed, I clearly see the beach, this favorite beach in Carmel that Dakota's favorite. I see him running towards me on the beach, and he's young. He's like he turned really gray when he got older, but when he
Mm.
was young, he was like a black and white kind of color with a little bit of merle, and he had bright blue eyes. And he was like 2 years old, and he was totally running so fast, and he turned and he saw me, and he came and he ran right into my heart, and I could feel this energy just of joy and love just come into my heart. And I was like, oh, Kathleen, of course you can still connect. Just because he's not in his physical body, he's still here. He's still here. And so Dakota had to remind me of that. And I really remember that every day. I remember Dakota, and so much of my work is in honor of all that he taught me
Hmm.
about Reiki, about connecting in his life and also in his dying process, and also after death. And you know what? Whenever I lead that meditation to this day, and it's been like 7 years now, my students and people who do this meditation have the most profound experiences with animals who've passed. And I really believe that Dakota is holding that space to help that to happen more easily for people.
That is so sweet. And I mean it's just incredibly sweet. I visualized everything that you were saying, and to have an experience of your heart filling with joy and love and gratitude, and a time when normally you're grieving and you're afraid and you're crying and all that stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
it's got to be the real deal. I mean, it just has to be. And I've interviewed enough people that I've done is when we transition, um, we get to have the body we want. We're young, we're vibrant, we're alive, and it makes perfect sense that the same thing for our animals. And I love the poem about when you were talking about the healing bridge. I was just thinking about the rainbow bridge, which when I put Millie to sleep was the first time I read that poem.
Yes, that's beautiful.
And it's such a wonderful thing. And if anyone hasn't heard it yet, I don't have it in front of me, but it's just a beautiful thing that there's this land that your animal is just rejoicing, and there's all plenty of food and butterflies and grass, and it's a beautiful sunshiny day, and they're just living the grandest life ever. But
Mhm.
there's this rainbow bridge, and so when it's our time to go, who's going to be there and on the other side of that bridge right away that we're going to see is that animal, that special friend is going to just come running into your arms. Well, if it's a horse, maybe not into your arms, but up to you, and you will be reunited. And I've spoken to enough mediums and things as well that they've seen the animals. Sometimes they've known names of animals, and they're there. I mean, it's beautiful. Your stories are really, really great.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I often wonder when it's my time to transition. I wonder if all the animals that I've helped to pass with Reiki over the years, not just my own, but so many others. And I wonder, will they all be waiting? That's going to be really crowded. But I hope they are. I really do. I hope that when my spirit opens her eyes, that she sees just hundreds and hundreds of animals just standing there at the bridge waiting. That will be the most beautiful moment.
Yeah, and you'll be so expansive too. You might be hovering over the sea of animals, and then, of course, the human beings behind them waiting for their turn just to love you. Wow, that's really beautiful. Have you read the book, The Art of Racing in the Rain?
No, somebody else was just telling me about that book.
Man, is it wonderful. My day job, I work with race car teams. I'm a chef, and my mom and I have a catering company, and we travel around. And someone had given me this book, The Art of Racing in the Rain, and I didn't read it because, even though I cook for the race car guys, I really wasn't interested in a racing book. Well, then enough people had recommended it to me, and so I actually got the audio version of it, and it is the sweetest thing. It's a story about this guy who wants to be a race car driver, but it's told from the dog's point of view.
Oh,
So
how cute.
yeah, and it's really well done that you're buying into it, that the dog's telling the story. And of course, the dog, is it wants to be in the race car and things like that. But it goes from the dog being a puppy to the dog taking his final breaths. And I'm not going to give away the ending because where you might think it would be a sad book, it's right along the lines of what we're talking about joy and gratitude. And um, there's anyone who's a lot of folks who are listening to the show right now are suffering from the loss of a loved one. The Talking about life after death is something that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts that have lost someone special to us. And so inside this book, and I listened to the audio version, there's a lot about grief. And so there's so many good things balled up in this extremely entertaining book that will put
Oh,
a big
wonderful.
smile on your face.
Yeah.
And it's right up your alley. I think so. And anybody's, because you don't have to be a dog lover, but you'd be very entertained, and your heart will be warmed about your life and about animals. And so it fits. So the author, I know he's somebody that believes in life after death as well. And yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really nice. So what else can we talk about? How about, do you have any more stories, or are you good with that? And we can maybe, I don't want to use the word transition because
Yeah.
we're talking about it another way. But is Reiki for all of us something that we can, let me even say how I want to do this. Like, uh, we are obviously recording the show, and we're recording it before Christmas of 2014. And of course, you could be listening to this many months or many years later. But just the fact that it's the holiday time, Kathleen, we've had a lot of us have had our pets that we've loved and lost. And
Mhm.
as much as I share about our human companions that have been here, and it's okay to set a place at the dinner table for them if you like, or as you're
Mhm.
decorating your Christmas tree that they're with you. Any tips on connecting with your animal that maybe we can't see right now that's with us, or even the animals that are presently with us, how we can connect maybe in a different level with them.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to talk about today, especially with the holidays, as you said. I think the holidays are, of course, they're wonderful time, but they're also I think they're a difficult time
Hmm.
as well for the ones that who have passed away that we're remembering and thinking about. So I think remembering to connect with your heart, remembering that your heart is always connected. So that love and that relationship is always there, will always be there. So to take some time during the holidays, which is such a heartful time,
Yes.
to honor the love that you have shared with your animals who are here, but also who have transitioned. So one of the things that we do every year for Dakota, he had this Christmas collar that was like looked like Santa Claus, kind of was like red with like white fuzzy,
Oh, cute. Yeah.
and bells on it. And so we hang that on the hearth every year. And he has a little pillow that said, it's all chewed up, but it was like an embroidered pillow that says, Santa, I've been a good dog. But it's funny because it's all chewed up. And so we put that out with his Christmas collar on the hearth to remember him. And I like to actually, when I'm putting that out, and every time that I look at it, actually, I like to thank Dakota for everything that he brought to my life, and just to like bring gratitude to my heart. I think that's really important. When we feel maybe sad, we can actually transform sadness into gratitude if we take time to remember like a happy memory, to think about a time that you shared with your animal which was full of joy. We can actually shift our emotions into that more positive space. So I like to think about and remember past Christmases with Dakota, or maybe walking on the beach in Carmel with him, or times that we had together. And I think our mind is a very powerful thing.
Yes.
And so if we can sort of choose to be sad, or we can choose to be, to me, the opposite of that in this case would be grateful. How blessed are we that these little angels of light come for this brief time in our life to be at our side, to teach us about unconditional love, to teach us about compassion, to teach us about grace and harmony. I mean, how lucky are we to have them for that time, even though we wish it would be longer. It's such a blessing. So it's a great, for me, it's just to take time and to honor all that they've brought to your life. That's a very healing thing to do.
Yes, I'm a little bit choked up right now, so I'll just share why. I'm sitting on my couch in my home in Massachusetts, and I have my laptop on my lap, and I have a blanket over me, this brown blanket. And when I wrote my book, Kathleen, my kitty Millie would snuggle on my right side, right on this blanket. She'd put her head on my laptop, which was often in my way as I was trying to type out the book. But that's where she was the whole time I wrote my book, We Don't Die.
Mm-hmm.
And when after we put her to sleep, and I was devastated, and my book had not yet come out, but I got the final copy from the publisher that I had to read one last time before it went to print. And it was the day after we put Millie to sleep. And it's like I didn't care that I wrote the book. There's a lot inside my book about grief and proof of life after death and things like that. And it's like in that moment, I was so devastated about losing Millie. There was nothing else that I could think about. So unfortunately, yeah, at the moment, I thought it was a bad thing. Like I was forced to read my own book, right? And I didn't want to because I was a mess. Because I truly, I mean, for any one of us that have uh, pets, our companions, we can often love them more than we love human beings, and that's a very real thing. And so I was forced and it took me 2 days just to read it cover to cover. And I went from a grieving mess to so filled with joy and gratitude, like you said, believing that Millie's not gone, understanding that even me, myself, and I am a soul in a human body right now, that we will meet up again with the tools that I have within my own book help me in my grief with Millie. And so it dawned on me that Millie left this earth just in the perfect time so I could see the impact that my own book would have on lives. And so I'm
How beautiful.
Yeah, I'm super, super duper passionate about sharing it. I think I give more copies away than I sell, but I don't care because it makes a difference. But my sweet Millie was an angel to me while I wrote it, and she was an angel to me even when she departed. And so like you just said it's very easy to be sad and to miss somebody or something, but then to look at the gratitude and it's a whole different spin on things
Mm-hmm.
and can really leave us in a powerful place. And I think a lot of the really troubling and sad things that happen to us somehow help us as human beings to grow and to be stronger and to learn whatever it is we're supposed to learn here on planet Earth while we're here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm all mushy right now. Can the animals hear us when we talk to them, or when you know what I'm getting at? Is it something that they're really understanding us, our mind, or through Reiki? I mean, do they understand us?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would be hard to say whether they actually understand the language or whether they see pictures, or it probably
Yeah.
depends on the animal. But for me, because I work with Reiki, it's really more about a vibration. So just like we were just talking about, you can have the vibration of sadness or you can have the vibration of gratitude. And it's the same thing when we talk to our animals, we talk about our animals. We can talk about them, with a vibration that's very positive and loving and supportive, or we can talk about, oh, they did this wrong, they did that wrong, and immediately our vibration changes to kind of a negative place. And so I always say to people, because, often I go, if I'm doing Reiki with somebody's animal, there's something wrong with them, which is why they want me to come help them feel
Right.
better. But then if I go and they're going on and on and on about all these things that are wrong, the vibration gets so heavy and negative, and the animal becomes very resistant to connecting. So I always say, talk to your animals or talk in their presence as if they're like a 5-year-old child. What would you say if your 5-year-old was standing next to you? How would you talk? What would you be saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with our animals, that they are so aware of everything that we're saying, and it's so important even if they're having challenges. And this is something that I haven't mentioned yet today that I wanted to say. So I'm glad that you asked that question. When we actually look at our animals, I challenge all of you to see deeper than their problems or their issues, or even if they're transitioning, you might be looking with your eyes and you see that their body looks weak, or, they, who knows, they don't look the way they used to. They look old, they look, rickety, but look deeper. And this is something that the meditations of Reiki help us to do. If we look deeper, we can see the heart of our animals. And the heart of our animals and their spirit, their essence, is always, always, always perfect, and always bright, and always in balance, and always in harmony. And so if I go into somebody's house and I see their animal for their true essence, and I see how beautiful and bright they are, now my vibration is so positive and open, and they want to come over and connect. And on the other hand, if I go in there and I feel pity, I feel sad, I feel scared or whatever because of their appearance or what they're going through, now my vibration becomes very kind of small and tight and kind of, I call it sort of unpleasant to the animal. They sort of sense that negativity,
Mm-hmm.
and so then animals might run out of the room. so so we have to go deeper and connect from the spiritual level, especially with animals that are having problems or might be transitioning, if we want them to feel comfortable and good about our presence, and if we want them to connect with us. It's so important. So this is really what I teach in my classes, is I teach people how to see with your heart and connect with your heart. And when you do that, you can get through any situation with a positive, peaceful resonance.
And I wouldn't doubt, Kathleen, that what you teach people and what they practice on their animals carries over to their interactions with human beings.
I hope so, because my work over the years has taught me that the animals are actually trying to tell us how to be with each other.
Wow. Wow. That left me kind of speechless. Well, it does, because I think we all have somebody in our life, or we might, that you want to tell them a thing or two, or why are they the way they are, and all that stuff. But to look at maybe even a human being and know that they have that kind, loving heart. You know, you talk to somebody, and it's clear that when you talk to somebody and you see the best in them, they respond differently than if you see the worst in them. You know, so and it's the
Absolutely.
same with animals. I live with my aunt, and Harry is our kitty, and she has spent more time with him, and she loves that cat to pieces. I mean, it's all about Harry when she's home. And it's so cute because Harry knows about the time she comes home from work. So he sits in the window waiting for her. Very often, even before she pulls in the driveway, he starts meowing. And then I know within the next couple minutes she's going to be home. And he follows her around like a dog. He'll jump on her lap no matter where she is. When it's time to go to bed, there he is right up with her. And with me, now we've had Harry for about 2.5 years. And with me, I'm just like somebody who feeds him. You know, if she's gone, and as much as I try to give the love and everything, he knows that. I mean, I tease her because we're both single ladies that Harry's her soulmate. You know, and it's so evident.
That's so
Um,
sweet.
yeah, it really is. It's just but what a wonderful opportunity for us to experience love. So I do think, if somebody's on the fence whether to get a cat or dog or animal, go for it because it is so much love that, gosh, um, aren't there some studies that people live longer who have pets and decreases stress and all kinds of stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and if you look at like therapy pets, they have, dogs and cats and other animals even that go visit people in hospitals and hospice and working with special needs children. I don't know if you've seen that movie Horse Boy,
No.
but it's about an autistic boy that couldn't speak, and then when he saw a horse and he put his hands on the horse, he was able to say horse, and so his parents go on this journey to heal their child, but he really is healed through horses. And so then his parents started a riding center for disabled kids. And it's just a really wonderful story. But I mean, for me, this is another reason why I do this work with Reiki and animals, because I feel that they do so much for us. They heal us so much just by being who they are. It's not like they're trying. They're just being who they are. They bring so much love and joy to our lives and to the world that we owe it to them. I mean, that's kind of how I feel, is that as human beings, we owe it to them to to go deeper and to be smarter, to let go of our, sometimes we're too much in our intellect, to let go of our human intellect about how we know how to do all these things, and to go back and remember our ancient connection to Mother Earth, which is really about our heart and being. I heard Deepak Chopra say, we're more of a human doing. We forget that we're a human being.
Hmm.
And And I love that, and I think the animals bring us back into the state of being again, so that we are closer to who we really are, going back to that true essence inside. They show us, they help
Oh, that's
find
so
us.
beautiful. Thank you so much. Now I'm left though with I have a cat. And now you've touched on Reiki. How do I find out more that what I can do for my kitty or learn about Reiki or learn about you and what you're up to? How do we
Well,
connect
I
with
have a
you?
lot of resources on my website, which is animalreikisource.com. And I also have an Animal Reiki Source Facebook page, which I put up little daily articles and quotes of inspiration, and I share videos. I have an Animal Reiki Source YouTube page, and I share lots of videos about working with animals and Reiki and energy and healing with animals. Um, so I invite people to look for me in in those different
Yes, and
places.
I will, and by the time you're listening to this, if you look at we don't die radio.com and you click on Kathleen Prasad, just beneath her picture and where the episode is, I'll put the link to her animal Reiki source and her Facebook page and Twitter and all of that
Thank
to
you.
follow up. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any closing words, my new friend? You've really brought so much love into my heart right now, thinking of these little
Oh,
beings that are just filled with unconditional
I know.
love.
Aren't they amazing? Well,
Yeah.
one of the teachings, one of my main teachings is that animals are our spiritual teachers. And I don't even just mean our animals who live with us, but I mean all animals on the planet. They can show us and teach us so much. I mean, even the butterfly in your garden or the little squirrel that comes to visit in your backyard. I mean, all creatures, they have so much wisdom because they are so much more close to Mother Earth's ancient wisdom, things that we have lost touch with. So one of the ways that I love to sign my books and to sign off on my little videos I make is I always um, finish with, and I'll say this to your listeners today, that in all that you do as you go forth, may the animals light your way.
Oh, that's beautiful. Kathleen Prasad, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Sandra. This has been a lot of fun.
It really has been. I've just got a giant smile on my face. I do, I do, I do, I do. And for our listener, thank you for being here too. And as a gift for you, I know I refer to things inside my book over and over and over. And that's not to tease you to go buy it. But if you go to we don't die radio.com and at the very top, there's a click here to be part of the Insiders Club. Well, when you click on that, I have a copy, it's a PDF file, so you have to read it on your computer, of my entire book that I'd like to give you as a gift for being here, and some other things if you're dealing with grief. There's some tools too to deal with grief and some things about life after death. But I'd like you to have that, and again, it's more about making a difference than selling copies of the book. And I want to encourage everyone to check out Kathleen's websites and really remember that our little companions, and some might be big companions, and those are our animals, do make a difference in our life, and really to concentrate on being grateful, feeling the joy, and feeling the love. So this is Sandra Champlain. I do believe that life is an education for our soul, and that our lives here on earth are important, and we do share them with the animal kingdom. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.